Hey guys, welcome to a new video. This is Typhon Alpha talking about Archer Commanders and what I'm running in the open field. And let's get straight into it. So, my main Archer march right now, because I only run one Archer in the field, is Hugh with Boudica Prime. The reason why I do this is because Hugh has higher AoE damage, a load of health stats, direct damage factor, skill damage bonus, and also has this expertise, which is doing 10% increase damage for 15 seconds, and also has the 30 rage increase if it uses the primary skill or gets this marquee effect for the 10% damage. Boudica Prime is bringing you fairly high damage with 2300 skill damage increase, march speed, which your huge definitely needs. So 10% isn't a lot, but it will help you in the open field. And then when your units got 80% units remaining, their archer units will gain a defense. Unfortunately, this is not always applying, but it's great nonetheless. And then you've also got, on the third skill, you have a chance to negate normal damage. Unfortunately, it's only for 1 second. The expertise isn't particularly great. The fourth skill isn't particularly great, so most people will run the 555 on Boudica Prime. And I think this march does fairly well in the open field. The only downside is the march speed, 10%, isn't the greatest, which is why the best march in the game right now is Hermann Prime with your Hugh, running Hermann Prime as the primary. You've got the high damage up to 3 enemies in a fan shape, which is 2000 damage factor. You've also got 20% attack, 20% defense, 15% march speed, which has no conditions. You've also got on the third skill, when you're attacking much on the map, you get 5% more skill damage, going up to 20% skill damage because I don't have him expertise right now. And then, unfortunately, you do have this, you take 5% more damage from archers, or cavalry I mean, and then you deal up to 5% more damage to infantry. And then on the fourth skill, which isn't the greatest skill ever, like you take less damage the more stacks of poison you have on the target from your primary skill. And then you got a chance of doing direct damage factor to up to 3 targets. And then the expertise, which isn't the greatest either, but you can run Hermann Prime 5551 and get most of his value because his expertise only inflicts the extra skill on the primary if he has 25 stats of poison. So on the primary, he's doing 2 stats of poison for 10 seconds. When the poison effect can stack up to 15 times, its duration resets when it gains another stack. So you can do up to 30 stacks, which would be 3% more skill damage for each stack, so up to 90% skill damage increase on the target. But you usually in the open field, because you're connecting with the target, pulling out of the target, the stats will reset a lot of the time, so the expertise you won't get that much value from because you won't hit the 25 stacks the majority of the time. So if I was to run Hermann Prime with your Hugh, which is arguably the best march in the game right now, you'd run Hermann for value at 5551 and you'd have most of his value, and then you'd expertise your Hugh to get like the best archer march right now. You can alternatively run YSG with your double relic with your Hermann Prime, because YSG is similar to Hugh where you don't have any march speed, you're dying for that march speed, and that's what the Hermann Prime will bring you. Other options like El Cid I wouldn't use, Tommy you can use, but she has a lot of anti-synergy with Herman Prime, so it gets rid of the stacks of poison, which is not ideal. I'm on a Torre, I wouldn't use Thutmose unless you're transitioning to SOC. Like, his relic gives up to like 60% of stats, so he is pretty strong. He does have the march speed as well, so you can pair Thutmose if you're transitioning along with like Hugh, and Thutmose maybe as a secondary. It's pretty decent. Boudica is good for second march predominantly. Like, if you're running 2 archer marches, you'd run Hugh and Herman, with Herman as the primary, and then you'd run probably Boudica with either a YSG or potentially an Ashe, because Ashe has quite a lot of value in the open field, even though he's a rally commander. Like, you got this 1500 5 target AoE and 1000 extra damage to the commander you're targeting. You've got extra stats like 20% attack. The only annoying thing is he has 15% march speed, but you don't get that unless you're out of Alliance territory. You got skill damage bonus. You don't get this 20% normal damage reduction in the open field. And then you've got less normal damage taken as well on the 4th skill, and unfortunately the second part won't apply in the field. And his expertise is pretty decent as well, like 4 seconds, and you get, a load of stats, potentially like 30% defense, 30% health, normal damage reduction. So it is quite good against like your Luces in the open field. If you're pairing him with someone else that's doing normal damage reduction, then he is pretty strong. And yeah, like, you can't run Dido in the open field either. Like, she's strictly Gaussen, and she's not the greatest in Gaussen right now. And then the other options would be Henry, Nebu, Cyrus. Like, you can run Henry in the open field as well with a YSG. It's just not the fastest. Like, the march speed is conditional outside Alliance territory. You've got the 2300 damage factor, skill damage reduction. So Henry is a good option as well. You could run him at like 5551 with your YSG double relic and get great value out of a second march. Alternatively, you do have Nebu and Cyrus if you're transitioning from maybe a restart account. Then you might have these 2 as your old commanders. I would say Cyrus the Great is probably a bit better than Nebu, just because all his skills are tailored to the open field. And the only downside is you do kind of need this expertise, you need the extra stats to make him viable. But yeah, if I choose my best 2 archer marches to run, it would be Herman with Hugh, and then it would be probably Boudica with Ashe or YSG. Alternatively, you could run YSG with your Herman if you wanted to more even damage across your marches, and then run Hugh with Boudica, where Hugh you'd want as the primary because of that high skill damage. Rage Engine is better than having the tankiness from the Boudica Prime. So thank you for listening. See you in the next video. Goodbye.